Supernatural is a show that I've really loved seeing developed without ever really being directly engaged with it. As a kid, I used to watch The Simpsons weekdays after school. On my local channel, it transitioned Kids WB into WB. My parents did not love that I was watching The Simpsons, but the only thing that really scarred my near 10-year-old brain were the commercials for Supernatural.
We got work to do.
Supernatural, the WB.
This was a scary show, apparently.
This place is orbing like crazy.
I knew that, but it aired just a little too late for me to ever watch it, but I wanted to watch it. Then I did not think about it again until I was in high school and I started going on Tumblr. It was not portrayed in the way I was expecting it to be. Then just a few years ago, I hear that they're doing a Scooby-Doo crossover, and suddenly after that it's over. It finally ended. After 15 years and over 320 episodes. And now there's a prequel series, which is not even the first spin-off.
I'll probably have nightmares about it.
Can't say I blame you.
Supernatural, the anime series.
Yeah, this is Billiam. I've never seen Supernatural, but with the guidance and help from my producer Savannah, who's a longtime fan of the show, I'm gonna go through the entire thing. I want to be exposed to the entire epic run on TV. Now, I will not promise you a Lost-sized retrospective on Supernatural. For those of you who don't know, I've done like 9 hours of content on Lost's first 3 seasons. I'm a longtime fan of that show, so naturally I will not have as in-depth opinions about Supernatural, and I'm not gonna force it. But for now, let's just look at the show's first season so we can appreciate it removed from everything that came after. Originally airing on the WB, but finishing out its first season during the network's transition to the CW, Supernatural is a horror-themed mystery show about 2 estranged brothers reuniting on a road trip to search for their missing father, a hunter of paranormal creatures, supernatural creatures. He's on a revenge mission to find the spooky thing that killed their mom all those moons ago. It after effects her right in front of their eyes, their young eyes, to death. The brothers Sam and Dean are now grown up. Sam is the studious one who wants to go to law school, and Dean is the smart-ass older brother who idolizes dad, wanting to follow in his footsteps hunting creatures.
If she's possessed, she'll flinch at the name of God. Huh, nice. Hey. What? Say it in Latin. I know. Okay. Hey. What? In Latin, it's Christo. Dude, I know, I'm not an idiot.
On the way, these two use their insights of folklore and mythology and deceptive skills to investigate and terminate dangerous paranormal creatures, supernatural creatures, plaguing their way across America, fearlessly driving right into danger while fearfully avoiding confronting the family drama that drove them apart.
Christo.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Christo?
I didn't.
So let's take an introductory look at Supernatural because I need context for the Scooby-Doo crossover for the next video. Boo! Sorry, didn't mean to scare you, but I'm just really excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Raycon. Raycon earbuds look, sound, and feel better than ever. Whoa! Sorry for being loud and noisy. I just wanted to tell you about Raycon's different listening modes. You got 3 customizable sound profiles, including noise isolation mode. Did you even hear me yell at you? But if you want to listen into what I'm, screaming about on the YouTube screen, you can just switch over to awareness mode to listen. Or you could just connect your earbuds to your phone and listen to my videos that way. You just tap the earbud to switch from isolation to awareness mode, as well as other customizable sound profiles. Here's what's crazy about these customizable gel tips. They will not fall out. Let's do the shake test, buds. Look how snug and discreet these earbuds are. Raycon offers 8 hours of playtime and 32 hours of battery life, giving you plenty of time to rewatch my video catalog. And what's crazy about what I just said is Raycon everyday earbuds are priced just right at half the cost of the competitors. So if you're interested in Rayconning it up with me, you can go to buyraycon.com/Billiam or click the link in the description to get 15% off. Thanks for watching, everyone. Supernatural is created by Eric Kripke. Nowadays, he's mostly known for adapting and showrunning The Boys, which funny enough features one of the leads of Supernatural. Working in TV, Supernatural wasn't his first job showrunning, but it's the idea he had been holding on to the longest. Kripke's fascination with well-known urban legends like Bloody Mary, the Hookman, demons, cults, poltergeists, Deepwood serial killers came from the idea that he saw these stories as a part of American mythology. A lot of these are stories that kids will traditionally tell to each other, urban legends that I became intimately familiarized with, and scary stories to tell in the dark. A collection of creepily illustrated scary stories. But despite the success pitching other shows, the final element needed to sell TV execs on his idea was the road trip element of the show, which allowed the characters to explore what Kripke considered to be the American mythology through the lens of the classical hero. But instead of the group of reporters he initially envisioned as the leads were changed into two brothers with a personal cause. Sam and Dean travel from town to town on their horse, a 1967 Chevy Impala, and are basically acting as the gunslingers from the Old West, protecting the townspeople from the villains wrecking the peace. From the beginning, Sam and Dean as brothers do have tension, not only because of their conflicting personalities, but because they both feel abandoned by one another. Sam only agrees to go with Dean on his quest to find their dad and beat up ghouls. After Sam's girlfriend, Jess, dies of the same mysterious way as their mother all those moons ago, and now the moon tonight. Imagine in one lifetime seeing two of your loved ones get psychically pinned to the ceiling and then explode. Twice in one lifetime, twice in one episode. Sam is motivated now more than ever. Dean had to protect young Sammy back then, but does he even need protecting no more? Lots to unpack. Sam is played by Jared Padalecki. He's a little uptight and has a real respect for authority, which clashes with Dean's carefree attitude.
What was that? Why you gotta step on my foot? Why do you have to talk to police like that?
Sam is reasonably attractive.
You're a reasonably attractive guy.
Reasonably.
Dean is played by Jensen Ackles. He's the hot-headed, hot older brother who carries on with the family business, busting ghouls. He's full of quippy one-liners and pop culture references. Bro instantly knew the difference between Mothra versus Godzilla and Godzilla versus Mothra. Mad respect.
Godzilla versus Mothra.
That's my favorite Godzilla movie. So much better than the original, huh?
Totally.
But typically this pop culture nonsense comes out with the various officials they claim to be when trying to get in closer to the investigations. Mulder and Scully, Ford and Hamill. Dean is the horniest character on the show. He wonders why his brother Sam won't go around being horny brothers together with him. The Winchesters. Sam's still getting over the death of his girlfriend, but Dean, in the first episode, he looked Sam right in the eyes and said he'd her given the chance. That's like their dynamic. But now he's like, yo, brother.
By the way, she's got a friend over there. She'll probably hook you up. What do you think?
Dean, no thanks. I can get my own dates.
Yeah, you can, but you don't.
What is that supposed to mean?
During the show, the duo track down the supernatural, following clues from their father's notes, out of newspapers and local hearsay. But later, Sam starts having premonitions about supernatural events, and they have to start helping people along the way while searching for their father, who is Dean's blind spot when it comes to disrespecting authority. Ironically, Dean respects their father's authority, but Sam questions it. It's something they bicker about.
This doesn't strike you as weird? The texting? The coordinates?
Sam, Dad's telling us to go somewhere. We're going.
There's a moment where Sam's being influenced by this creature, and he loses control and begins saying all of these critical things of Dean.
I have a mind of my own. I'm not pathetic like you.
Dean loves his daddy, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and thinks Sam abandoned the two of them when he went off to college. Sam is cynical about daddy and thinks they should have supported him when he went to college. They had things to work through, but dad doesn't pick up the phone. Oh, and that runs in the family.
He used to swing by Stanford whenever he could. Keep an eye on you. Make sure you were safe.
Why didn't he tell me any of that?
Well, it's a two-way street, dude. You could have picked up the phone.
Sam and Dean's relationship, for the cartoon folks of you, it's like if Kevin 11 and Ben 10 had their own spinoff. Dean is the Kevin 11 of Supernatural.
Oh my God!
What?
That painting looks so good.
Each episode of Supernatural features Sam and Dean essentially getting involved in some other people's personal lives because they figure out some spooky stuff is happening around them. It's amazing how quickly strangers become trusting when the paranormal is afoot. Perhaps when you're facing real demons, men who could possibly kidnap your children seem like they're all right.
We're gonna kill this thing. I want it dead, you hear me?
They have their simple weapons like salt guns, which stun most of their paranormal enemies, but typically defeating a creature means finding and burning its original body. Oh, that's if it's a ghost. Like the silver bullet has to be used to kill the skinwalker, which apparently is in the same ghoul class as a werewolf. What ghoul class are you in? What magical object would be needed to kill you? Comment down below. To kill me, you need a little sunlight. Portraying known folklore, often the show's task is finding creative ways to depict these monsters. Like once summoned, Bloody Mary will attack you through any reflective surface until she gets you. Then, in one episode, they have to perform an exorcism on a plane, while the demon attempts to make it crash. Now, Dean's afraid of flying, so there's some personal tension for him.
You're joking, right? Do I look like I'm joking? Why do you think I drive everywhere, Sam?
It's a funny realization. Often there's like no known way in the show's lore how to kill whatever they're up against. Like in one episode, there's a tulpa. A tulpa is a creature created by the collective imaginations by those who fear it. So Sam and Dean, they track down some nerds moderating a website. They've essentially created a creepypasta that so many people are into that it's become real. They have no way to defeat it unless the creators can popularize a weakness for it for them to exploit. It's fun. What I find to be notable about Supernatural, especially for the time, is how ingrained it truly is in the horror genre. A lot of critics at the time were skeptical a horror show could flourish on American network TV, where network censorship could really threaten the kind of storytelling they were trying to do. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel are really the only two other comparable things I can think of when trying to think of network horror, but those shows are much more superhero in their storytelling than Supernatural, which isn't totally not superhero.
Okay, WWBD. What would Buffy do? Huh? What would Buffy do?
Despite airing on the original network Buffy and later Angel aired on, Supernatural actually shares a lot more creative talent with The X-Files, which, like Buffy, also features a lot of horror elements. The pilot and second episode director David Nutter would design the show with a very dark palette, which would be carried over by series producer and director Kim Matters, both of which are X-Files alumni. But from the story side, Kripke would tap Josh Shiban, an X-Files writer, to flesh out the show's mythology. Being the first network show I can really think of to market itself as a part of the horror genre, I think a lot of the horror storytelling elements work surprisingly well. And surprisingly, the WB as a network often pushed for them to amp up the scarier and gory aspects of the show. It was a part of their marketing strategy. I think what allows it to work is the road trip formula itself. It introduces many likable characters episode to episode that can absolutely die because they don't really need them in the next episode. I love this girl introduced in the Haunted Asylum episode. Sam and Dean find her and try to rescue her, but she insists she goes with them into danger because her boyfriend also needs to be rescued. She gets reunited with him, and right before the third act, she's like, "I'm breaking up with you."
If we make it out of here alive, we are so breaking up.
This near-death experience has given her clarity in life. She's gutsy enough to go back for him, gutsy enough to cut it off. But she still went back to save him because it's the right thing to do. Now I like her and I don't want her to die. Now there's stakes with her life and a stake in his heart. It's through these episodic characters, few of which have existing relationships to Sam and Dean, that we see a softer side to our main characters. Sam identifies with a lot of people who've lost their family, and Dean identifies with a lot of people who feel the need to protect their loved ones. These character viewpoints help us connect with the episodic characters, which allow the horror elements to work. Episode to episode, you do believe that Sam and Dean are invested in the stakes that these strangers face. I mean, there's a lot of little things you can do to make characters memorable. I don't know if this is a compliment per se, but there's this little kid with crayons and army toys. Every scene just with his crayons and army toys. He won't speak, he just wants to play with his crayons and army guys. Critics were lukewarm to Supernatural, but often complimentary of it, which is kind of how I feel. I feel that way watching a lot of media. Lukewarm, but complimentary. I like Sam and Dean as protagonists. I like the way the show looks and the way many of the shots are composed. And I also have a personal interest in like American folklore and mythology, so the subject matter also appeals to me. That's obviously not really what the show's always about. It's about the character story. And that's why I really think that Supernatural is one of the paramount pieces in shifting audiences' general interest into like fandom territory. Serialized genre drama. Sam and Dean are hot boys with hot drama with hot mythology underneath it all.
You thought I was hot.
This guy's smoking hot. I can't play his brother. And
which appeals to the X-Files types. I'm like half X-Files type. Could it be a symptom of our times in an era plagued with man-made parts like global warming and biological terrorism, when even natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina seem compounded by human failings? Perhaps we seek the comfort of a higher scapegoat, supernatural forces beyond our control and not our fault. Nah, it's gotta be because of Lost. Supernatural and many of the other genre shows that have been picked up in the 2005 TV season were sort of attributed to being picked up in the light of Lost's success. Supernatural, at least in its first season, was directly compared to its approach in mythology to Lost, where mythology itself is more the setting for the more important character story.
Lost is an untouchable show. I mean, it's a brilliant and unbelievable show, but I find the endless mystery, my own taste, frustrating. And if you're going to give ongoing mystery, all right, people who believe, and if you're going to give ongoing mystery, at least give like a rollicking, badass story apart from it that can have a beginning, middle, and end, and you can be satisfied, and the good guys can win, and you can have the experience of being told a story. And then, you know, thread in the ongoing mystery.
In the first season, Supernatural's mythology is rather simple. But while I talk about Lost as a show that could have gone off the rails because it went on forever, Supernatural kind of is a show that went on forever, which is very fitting in my mind. Kripke compared the show's storytelling approach to Westerns, and many Westerns have been some of the longest running series of all time. Wagon Train ran for 284 episodes. Bonanza ran for 431 episodes, and Gunsmoke ran for 480 episodes. Supernatural's episode count fits comfortably in there. Just a couple of cowboys riding from town to town, saving some pretty ladies. From the start, the connecting tissue to this road trip story is the story of the Winchester boys. While Kripke would bring a lot of the spooks and rock and roll to the show, he was much more experienced with doing scary things. He wrote Boogeyman. So Kripke's more experienced writing partner, Bob Singer, would try to bring another layer of dimension to the show and would actually continue to work on the show after Kripke would leave.
Me Alone, like, is Boogeyman. And like all of a sudden with him, like, you know, we have a show where you have these characters that are psychologically rich and true, and Bob is behind huge amounts of that. So the show would not succeed at all without him. So.
Coming from different generations, you approach drama in different ways.
Well, I don't know if that's a generational thing, but I'm very...
sober.
Drunk. There's that, yeah. This is so boring, but I kind of come in everything from a character standpoint of view. It's all about character to me, and I like to let the plot work itself out given what the characters are going to do. And what I'm interested in the scenes is how, it drives the plot, but I'm most interested in how the characters react to it. And so the stories I do tend to get a little like this, but the character stuff is probably interesting.
The family dynamic between these two boys looking for their shitty dad is at the heart of the show, and it's a dramatic core that I think they execute successfully, with Dean blindly trusting him and Sam's hesitance to trust him, and his own inability to confront his sons. He says he wants them to stay away for their safety, but he routinely contacts them just to give them leads on new paranormal creatures causing havoc. He encourages them to go into danger, but runs away from talking to them. He's like, go and try to get yourselves killed, but I don't want to be there when you get hurt. When the stakes get real and their dad, John Winchester, really feels like he's about to be able to put a cap on this part of his life, you can really feel how tired he is and how he just wants to make up for lost time with his family.
I want to stop losing people we love. I want you to go to school. I want Dean to have a home.
Dean to have a home. I don't know why I find that so funny. The three reunited Winchester men acquire a magic Colt pistol. Finally, they can fulfill their revenge fantasy for their mother. She apologizes to Sam in that one episode where they see her ghost, who's haunting a new family in the house. What? But word gets around that they've found this particular gun. Some powerful vampires and demons come out of the woodwork, creating a powerful threat for our seasoned hunters. Things go wrong and John has to go and try to trick some demons while Sam and Dean try to finally predict the next move of the powerful yellow-eyed demon that killed their mom and Sam's girlfriend all those moons ago, many moons ago. They fail to take him down, but they're able to save the demon's next victim. Uh-oh. Dad got into some trouble and his boys aren't around to save him. The season's ending is a really great exemplar of some of the horror style writing the show does from time to time very well. They finally escaped the most dangerous enemies they've been against all season, and their dad has been like possessed at one point, but they finally get out of there and driving away, and right as the tension is at its peak, they get hit by a semi-truck. There's no relief. It fades to black, season ending. Very true to the genre, and only the second most frustrating season finale involving Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Comment question: when did you stop watching The Walking Dead? If the show never got picked up for another season, the story is about the tragic death of the Winchesters, who got in over their heads on a revenge kick, only able to realize that they had each other for support when it was too late. I know that's not what it is, but for a second, I'm gonna pretend there's not 14 more seasons of this show. I'll probably cover the rest of Supernatural in like 4 to 5 videos. Please stay tuned for that. Next video is gonna be about Scooby-Doo and all of his crazy crossovers. See ya.